shot! He dishes off to Jones, kicks it out to Aaron Hart, 4 seconds. Oh, my goodness! He makes the three!
Are you kidding me, Aaron Martin?
Well, welcome to Wildcat Week. I'm Roger Alcock. Now, much has happened over the last couple weeks in the men's basketball program, and in that stretch, the Wildcats have faced off against really 3 of the Crossroads League foes that were tied for second place in the conference standing, so a very important stretch for the Wildcats. Now, most recently, they traveled to Huntington to take on the Foresters, and the Wildcats were without point guard Johnny Marlin, but they put together really an outstanding team effort against the Foresters. Lane Mahurin and Bob Peters picked up the slack for Johnny Marlin. They combined to shoot 16 of 24 from the floor, and both showed off their hops with some impressive dunks along the way. Now, the Wildcats grabbed the lead early and would never relinquish it. They went into the half leading by 13. Now, their shooting was even hotter to open up the second half as the guys scored 15 of the first 17 points of the second half. The bench played an outstanding role as Tyler Greathouse made some big contributions. Nate Bubash, Jacob Johnson, they also had big nights off the bench for the Wildcats as well. The defense for Indiana Wesleyan was strong. They forced 16 turnovers on the evening, and the men dominated the Foresters really all night long. The guys shot a blistering 54% from the floor on the night and pulled away big time in this one, 93-62. The sophomore class, they led the way for the Wildcats. As we said, Lane Mahurin and Bob Peters tied with career highs on the night. Mahurin with 24 points, Bob Peters with 22. DJ Bettinger scored 9 points on the night. And 3 other Wildcats, Tyler Greathouse, Jacob Johnson, Nate Bubash, each had 8 points apiece. The guys improved to 23 wins against just 2 losses on the year, and they sit all alone in first place in the Crossroads League at 11-2. Well, they travel next to the state of Ohio to take on Mount Vernon Nazarene this Saturday. Well, we welcome the head coach of the Wildcats into the studio now, Greg Tonigal. And Coach, thanks for joining us. I thought that game against Huntington, that was maybe as good a team defensive effort and performance we've seen in a long time from these guys. They really put it together, I thought.
They did. They played well. That's a tough place to play.
Mm-hmm.
Huntington's, a good basketball team. And, with us playing the first game without Johnny, there's some question marks out there. I'd be lying if there weren't question marks in my own head. But to just play, to get that kind of behind us and say we're moving forward, we're gonna continue to improve as a team, I think was a good statement for us.
We talked or mentioned Bob. He had a great start to the year. I think his scoring production dropped off a little bit, but with Johnny out, he picked it right back up and stepped in. But I don't think, we talk about the points all the time. I thought he did a really nice job on the defensive end as well.
Bob's got a great all-around game. He can score inside and out. He can really guard you. He's got great basketball instincts, and he's getting a good opportunity now to play without Johnny and to really, I think, step up in a larger role. And so when Johnny does come back, I think we're going to be that much better because Bob, has stepped into the role that we know he can do.
Lane, 8 of 14 on the night. Pretty good production there. 8 of 10 from the free throw line. 6 rebounds. Pretty good night for Lane and not pretty good, really good night for Lane.
It's funny, we're calling that a really good night. That's an awesome night. I mean, that stat line's incredible right there.
We're starting to expect these big nights from Lane, though.
Exactly.
That's great.
What was once applauded now is expected, out of our sophomore class. But these sophomores are playing hard. Throw Nate Bubash in the mix. They just continue to get better. They continue to work really hard, and they're giving us a lot of production.
We kind of know what the bench is capable of. We've seen what Nate can do. You mentioned him already. One of your freshmen, Jacob Johnson, continues to show some flashes of what he's capable of.
Yeah.
He's a dynamic player, but not only the 8 points, he had 11 rebounds in that game, and he can play some defense as well.
The huge ceiling on Jacob Johnson. I mean, the ceiling he has in terms of what kind of player he will eventually be is high. First, because he works really hard, but then you take that hard work and you combine it with a 6'6" frame, athleticism. He's not afraid to mix it up physically. He's going to do a lot of good things down the road for us.
I thought in this game, a little bit early on, you struggled with some turnovers. And I don't know if that was with Johnny out of the lineup, just adjusting a little bit. But you guys got a handle on that, took care of the basketball, and from that point on, built a big lead going into the half and never looked back. But pretty good job taking care of the basketball after a little bit of a shaky start.
Yeah, I mean, we're obviously playing different without Johnny. I mean, so much of what we did was Johnny off a ball screen, and so we've had to make a few adjustments. You know, we're not changing the whole world right now, but guys are going to have to understand we're playing slightly different, and so that was the first crack at it. I mean, we had one practice. You know, we had Monday to say, okay, here's what we're going to do. So, like I said, we're not changing a lot, but at the same time, there are a few things that are going to have to change if we're going to continue to produce on the offensive end.
You know, I thought also was maybe big in that game was how you responded. We're looking at some of the highlights from St. Francis, the game right before Huntington. This was a game where you guys struggled out of the gate and had to, pull out the big victory at the end. You didn't struggle out of the gate really against Huntington. I think you came to play from the get-go. But that followed up this incredibly exciting finish against St. Francis.
Yeah, I mean, St. Francis really came out and put us on our heels and continued to bury us. I mean, it wasn't like we came out in the second half initially and started. It was about the 15-minute mark and we started slowly chipping away.
Well, they had built, a 16, 17, 18-point lead, and you guys had to make some big plays down the stretch, and you did. Made just enough of them. That steal and turnover. Your pressure defense caused some issues for them.
We had great active hands. We had good length, I think, in the game that made a difference. Bob and Jacob and Zach, when they got into traps with their length, bothered them. And we were able to convert those. That was the other thing. Sometimes you get turnovers, you don't convert them. We were able to convert this game.
Again, the defense that causes the turnover, you hit the free throws. Big free throws from Bob. They were really huge because when Lane went to the line a little bit later, there you see again the trap and forcing the timeout. Again, I don't know. Have you guys been practicing, this trap a little bit more? It's something I've not seen you guys do a lot of.
No, because we didn't practice getting down 17 points with 15 minutes to go. And so this was kind of, okay, we got to try something new. And, it's now or never to get back in this game. And, I thought like that right there. They're very physical without fouling. And so we gave ourselves a chance. I mean, you talk about how improbable this was. We missed a layup.
Exactly.
We missed 2 tips.
Yep.
Then we go here and we get Lane the ball exactly where we want it. Makes a really strong move. He gets fouled. Almost finishes that. Yeah.
And
then
the guy
misses both free throws.
And you're pretty happy to have Lane at the line this position. He's a clutch guy.
Lane is a clutch guy. And they don't fall, which is going to happen. But we get a couple guys scrambling for a rebound, including Lane, who just missed.
Yeah.
We get another opportunity.
You caught some breaks. And you set up the play. Did you know you wanted to get to Johnny? I'm assuming you did.
Yeah, we don't mind the ball in his hands late in the game. There were a couple options on that play, but that's just a strong play for him to be moving, laterally and then to rise up and to get a shot off.
Well, that's what I think my first initial instinct was. He had the dribble to the right. He's kind of fading to the right. He did a nice job of going vertical and not fading on that shot.
Pound for pound, probably one of the strongest kids we've ever had because he's just solid. And that's where it showed that core strength to be able to make that move, rise up, not leave it short. Heck of a play.
Well, you couple that victory there against St. Francis. You follow up with the win against Huntington. But then St. Francis beats Bethel, so you're back to that 2-game lead. So that St. Francis win, it was big.
Yeah, I think we'll look back and just realize how big it was. I mean, because they're a really good team. They're playing as good or better than anybody in our league right now. And, although we didn't play as well as we'd like for 40, the outcome was we won a close game. And you're going to have those in league play. You're going to have crazy endings in our league every year like that. And I think if you don't quit and you stay in it, you're probably going to end up on the right side more than the other side.
All right. Well, Coach, thanks for coming on in and join us. Good luck to you guys when you go on the road and take on the Cougars of Mount Vernon on Saturday.
Thanks, Raj.
All right. Well, when we come back, the women's head basketball coach, Steve Brooks, will be joining us. And a little later, we'll see how the indoor track and field season is doing as they get underway. That's all ahead on Wildcat Week. Well, welcome back to the Wildcat Week. The women's basketball team, they suffered their first loss of the conference last night at the hands of the Huntington College Foresters. It was a blackout game, drew a big crowd to Lucky Arena, but the game came down to the wire. Well, Emma Stahl, she opened up things early for the Wildcats. She got this tough basket to go inside. Carly Cottrell, what a night she had. Here she hits a three-pointer, and many of those from Carly on the night. Pull-up jumper in the lane from Kelsey Key, and the Wildcats in a back-and-forth game at this point. Again, Carly Cottrell, she banks this one off the glass as the shot clock was getting ready to go off. Carly once again, open three-pointer, she hits it. And a nice inbounds play here found Carly for the layup. The game was themed Take a Stand Night in honor of the cause to prevent human trafficking, and Lucky Arena took a moment of silence as the Wildcats reached 26 points. Now the second half, Katrina Blackman got the first basket of the game, and the Wildcats here with this Chelsea winner three had built a 7-point lead, but then the Foresters got back in this game, took the lead back, and they continued to shoot the ball well. This was a big three from Carly, closed the gap a little bit on the Foresters, and Carly, she couldn't be stopped all night, had a game high, hit the long downtown three. Here's Emma Stahl working her way inside once again, trying to get the Wildcats back into this ball game. At that, another three for the Wildcats, but wasn't quite enough, a little bit too little too late, as the women were unable to capitalize really on Carly's hot shooting as they dropped this one to the Foresters 64-59. Carly had, as we said, a career high 24 points, 9 of 10 from the field. Emma Stahl contributed 17 points as well. She had 7 rebounds and 3 assists to go along with those 17 points. Huntington, as we said, hands the Lady Wildcats their first and only loss in the Crossroads League. Wildcats now sit at 12-1 in league play, 21-4 overall on the season. Now the women will host the Cougars of Mount Vernon Nazarene this Saturday at 1 p.m. in Lucky Arena, so they'll have a chance to get back on the winning side of things. Well, now we welcome in the head coach of the Wildcats, Steve Brooks. And Coach, thanks for joining us. I want to get back to one thing. We'll talk about the game. Tough loss, but I think everyone there felt like everyone won that night in a sense with the blackout night. And it was a really, I think, a proud moment for your team and your program. It was really neat to see how the team came together and spearheaded this cause and raised a lot of money to fight human trafficking.
Yeah, I was, and I think our players were really, really appreciative of the student body coming out and supporting the idea of taking a stand. And then when we got word of how much money was raised throughout the course of the day, I think it was over $5,000 that was raised, which saves 3 kids, and our goal was to try to save 2 kids. And so we were really, really thankful for our student body and the university as a whole coming behind, the idea of let's take a stand and let's do something about it. Let's take some action. And it was, unfortunate that we played the way we played and the game ended the way it ended. But as far as the activities of the day went and the purpose behind the blackout, it was a real success, and we're really thankful.
Getting to the game, I think you guys had won 11 of the last 12 against Huntington, but it's always a tight game. I know you have a lot of respect for Coach Kohler and their team and what they do there, and so it's always a tight game. And in this one, it seems like you always find a way against Huntington to pull it out at the end. Down the stretch, just couldn't get maybe the big stops that you needed. I think defensively it was probably maybe the biggest thing you guys could point to, or one of the big things that you could control at least.
Yeah, exactly. I think what you're saying is exactly right. We didn't shoot the ball well. We really struggled. When you look at, I think, 3 of our starters were like 5 for 27 from the field combined. And, we just didn't shoot the ball well. And you're going to have some nights like that where things don't go in the basket. One of the things that's enabled us to pull some of these kinds of games out has been our defense, and our defense was nowhere to be found. I mean, we created some offense for them by just mental breakdowns on our defensive end, and it proved to be too much for us to overcome at the end.
I think in the first game, you guys were pretty much able to hold Palmer in check, Hubble and Recker in check. This game, Eschman comes off the bench for him. I think she hit 10 or 11 points, and that hurts you. Letting that post player, she hurt you last night.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt about it. That's when you look back at the game and you're going to look for factors that, enabled them to pull off the upset at our place, that's going to be one of the big ones, that we gave their bench 10 points. One of the strengths of our program over this season has been that we have outscored people. Our bench has outscored their bench. Last night, I think we had 4 points maybe from the bench, and that was it.
And there were some times, I think, especially in the first half, where your bench came in, got some good looks, just couldn't get them to drop.
No, we couldn't. We didn't shoot the ball well. And when you have nights like that, and you will, you've got to be able to defend. And we didn't defend. That's the frustrating part, because that's something that we've, over the years, we've taken a lot of pride in being that kind of a team. And last night we weren't, and we got beat.
The other thing, and we've tried not to dwell on it too much, but it's very frustrating, is the fact that if you look at the stats, pretty even across the board, but they killed you from the free throw line. Some of that, calls you don't get that you'd like to get. I think some of that too was maybe they were a little bit more aggressive at attacking the rim. And I think once...
That's being kind.
Yeah.
I mean, we were pretty aggressive at trying to attack the rim too. And I have to be careful. That's one of my frustrations with the season. And I really believe Katrina Blackman's one of the best players in the conference, and she goes to the basket as hard as anybody in the league. And very rarely last night did she get to go to. She went to the free throw line one time.
Yeah. What was it? 14 free throws to 1 in the second half.
In the second half, I kind of reminded them at the end that we only had shot 1 free throw, and that gave them 2 more free throws. So it wasn't a good thing. But that's a hard thing for kids to be able to, when the first half was played like this and nothing significantly changed. You were there, you watched the game.
Yeah.
But the bottom line in the whole thing is we didn't control what we could control. Yeah. And I've learned it way back when I was playing. Coaches used to say all the time, if you put the game in the hands of the officials, you're going to lose. And that's what we did last night. We could not overcome the fact that we didn't shoot the ball well, then we didn't defend, and then when we needed to get a call, we don't get a call, and it was just too much, and we got beat.
Well, the good news, though, is the Wildcats, you get another shot, get on the floor on Saturday against Mount Vernon Nazarene, and you still have the 2-game lead in the conference. So those are all good things and things you can look forward to.
Yeah, we're going to try to build. I mean, the big thing is you don't want to lose, and you don't want to lose at home, but we've got to learn from it. This is the second loss at home, which has really been, that's unusual.
Yeah.
And so hopefully we can get the kids today, and in our team meeting, we can look at this and grow and get better because of it. They always say, and I believe it's true, you can learn a lot more from a loss than a win, and hopefully we can.
All right. Well, Coach, good luck to you guys on Saturday, and thanks for coming on in. Congratulations on really a successful night with the blackout. It was a really special night.
And I want to, again, send a little props towards Torrey Kraft and Coach Corbett for kind of orchestrating the whole thing. But more than anything, we really want to say thank you to the student body for supporting our take a stand. And it was way beyond anything we could dream. And I don't know why we would have put God in a box like that. But the director of Destiny Rescue had sent me an email and said that, Indiana Wesleyan University is a special place. It talks about world changers, and definitely I witnessed that yesterday in the way that the student body rallied, and what a better testimony than that for the university.
All right, well, thanks a lot. Well, when we come back, we're going to take a look at a different outcome of that women's basketball game on Wednesday night, and we'll check in on indoor track and field. That's next on Wildcat Week. Well, welcome back to Wildcat Week. The indoor track and field teams are underway and recently competed in the Wildcat Invitational. On Saturday, the Wildcats headed indoors for their second meet of the season. 6 Wildcat athletes and teams achieved national standards in that Invitational. Holly Leslie achieved the national standard in the women's triple jump with a mark of 11.26 meters. The jump was good enough for second place out of 14. The women's 4x800 meter relay team also achieved the NAIA standard by running the relay in 9 minutes and 31 seconds. The time earned them first place in the 6-team race. Allison Trevithick also had a great showing. She placed third in the women's high jump with a mark of 1.62 meters. Christy Schultz placed fourth in the women's long jump. She achieved the national standard with a jump of 5.41 meters. Taylor Height was the only individual woman to qualify for a national track standard. She earned second place in the women's 5,000 meter run with a time of 18 minutes and 21 seconds. Jake Smith was the lone standard on the men's side. He achieved the national standard with a time of 8.18 seconds in the men's 60-meter hurdles. Now, the indoor track and field teams will travel to Anderson this Saturday to compete in the Anderson Invitational. Now, the women's basketball team took a stand against human trafficking during their game on Wednesday night against Huntington in association with Destiny's Rescue, an international organization working to end child slavery. The women promoted their game in hopes to raise enough funds to free 2 children from slavery. Our Kyle Johnson worked with the Lady Wildcats to promote their vision and put together this video, which they played at the halftime of the Wednesday game.
Human trafficking isn't something that one person can overcome by themselves, but it'll take the blessing of the Lord and just people who are willing to just serve others. Destiny Rescue, they work in various countries to rescue young women and young girls from the human trafficking industry. So when we kind of got involved with them, it was something that just kind of touched our hearts, and we thought that if there was any way that we could help, that we wanted to.
Today we're here to take a stand with you. Tomorrow we'll take a stand in chapel, and all of us will take a stand in our classes. Our ultimate goal is to raise $3,000, and with that money we'll be able to rescue 2 kids.
And we just wanted to reach out and help people understand how big this problem is with human trafficking, and we want to make a difference, even if it's just one life.
For these children, I pray that we can raise so much money, Lord, that we not only raise money for 2 kids, but more than that, Lord. You are a big God, and you are able.
The athletic department is working together with the Doulos group and Destiny Rescue, and then just kind of the whole chapel all together.
Every 26 seconds, there's going to be an athlete stand up and actually walk on stage to kind of give a visual of how every 26 seconds there's a person sold into slavery. I'm blessed each and every day to be around my teammates, and I get to see the desire that they have to serve other people and just a heart that they have for other people. With basketball, we get to come in contact with people and relate to people in other ways. If this was your daughter or someone that you knew personally, like how far would you want people to go? And I think just having that goal in mind, we want people to really be selfless in how they act and think about this, and we want it to not be something that stops on Wednesday, but that we can continue to help in.
Well, the night certainly was a tremendous success, and altogether on the day, the team raised over $5,000, so great job. Well, that's all we have for you this week. If you have any comments or suggestions about the show, we'd like to hear from you. You can write us here at the station, WIWTV, 4201 South Washington Street, Marion, Indiana, 46953, or you can visit our website, WIWTV.com. You can watch past episodes and connect with us online at WIWTV.com. Well, we look forward to being back with you next week. So for all of us here, thanks for watching Wildcat Week.